Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number
10.
Wow, 10. And we've upgraded yet again today.
Yes, we have some amazing new cameras courtesy of Rosa. She got them for her episodes that she makes, and she's letting us borrow them for this time.
He has a whole control center here. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's nice, and you can change the cameras on the fly. So it's pretty neat.
So
they're called Mevos by Logitech, and you get up to 6 of them. So awesome. You can have a sports or your jiu-jitsu, you can put them around it, and then you can do the whole thing. But anyways, episode number 10.
All right, let's get into some current events. As Ryan and I have been saying, the Miami ascension story just keeps writing itself as we predicted it would, because momentum cycles are very, very real things. And once it builds, they just gather steam and keep going, and history doesn't go backwards. So we have an interesting little bit of information from the California Economy and Taxes Twitter account. And they said here that, this is about California, quote, tax payments came in weaker than expected. Isn't that shocking when their taxpayers are leaving? We now estimate 2022-2023 revenue to be $26 billion below budget projections. This weakness will likely carry forward. Also shocking. Our updated forecast is $58 billion below budget projections across 2023 to 24-25. So similarly, New York has budget shortfalls that it is experiencing as well. Also, back to the topic of California, their mansion tax has brought in far, far less than they sold taxpayers on. Yeah. So this ties together two important concepts that we're going to see playing out and affecting our world. One is this building of momentum, which is, again, very, very real, and people don't pick up on it until it's so obvious it hits you in the face. So 1% of taxpayers account for over 40% of revenue in these high tax jurisdictions. And when they leave, just 10% of them decimate your tax base. We have the mayor of New York now blaming the migrant situation on their tax situation, all that stuff. It's just begun. And point number two, one thing I keep talking about, is that politicians double down on losing positions because their prosperity is not aligned with their jurisdictions. All they care about is getting reelected, and they will keep pandering to the growing percentage that does not pay in so that they get reelected. That's all they care about, which is why you see obvious losing positions get doubled down upon like this.
I know we talked about this last episode, but it's just that part boggles my brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they, I don't know. It's like they're so self-centered. I guess you have to be self-centered to be a politician.
I think it's a self-selected pool.
But I don't know. It just, I don't know. It's wild.
They want to get in office. They want to stay in power. They want to get their pensions. Get rich while they're in office. That's look. They all become genius stock traders when they're in Congress. And I'm a registered independent. That's on both sides, 100%. So that's the game. That's how you see them double down on losing positions. Because they're getting rich.
Oh, boy. Yeah, and we had the debate last night.
Ah, yes.
And I didn't even watch it. I just heard
Me too. I just watch highlights of the
highlights of it.
I can't watch it.
And it was both of them were so terrible in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Terrible.
It's quite the allegory of our times, actually.
Yeah.
Having them both on stage together. I kind of like this.
I know, because they were
from a peculiar observation.
Because, if you really think about it, California and Florida are both some of the most dysfunctional states in the country, just in completely opposite directions.
Alas, yes. And also, you have the governor of a state that is losing the population, debating the governor of a state that had the net highest population growth in 2022.
Yeah, I saw, I think Omar tweeted that out. In 2021, 2022, Florida had the most net.
Yes, the highest in the nation net migration. Correct.
Yeah.
And just when we dissect those raw numbers, we have IRS data that indicates that we're getting the taxpayers.
It's amazing.
So correct, and they're losing them. So it's kind of funny having those two sides debate. And I'm also very amused that Newsom seems almost pompous in his tone, when meanwhile his state is quite literally losing taxpayers. It's kind of funny to me. But again, he doesn't care. He puts his makeup on. He gets on stage. It's a happy day for him. He gets attention.
I think that's what it is. I think most politicians should have been actors. I think they would have been happier.
100%. But then they kind of are. They get to read a teleprompter. That's really what our presidents do. They read teleprompters, some better than others.
Because the speech is already written for them.
It's not a secret at all. They have speechwriters. They read the teleprompter. They don't give unscripted talks. Do you know who does, actually?
Who?
Vladimir Putin. No, he does. He gives 2 to 3 hour open press corps. He holds conversations sitting in a chair, answers in detail with no script.
Just don't ask the wrong question, or
I'm not commenting on on the positions they take, which is the ability to speak without a teleprompter. I don't think. When was the last time? Here's a question for people out there: when was the last time a U.S. president spoke without a teleprompter, even to a group of children in a 5th grade schoolroom?
Probably not a long time.
I'm serious. I'm actually curious about this now. We have a new tool, everyone. And this is Ryan's friend.
Yes, we have. I have a friend. He's a Twitter friend, and his name is Connor Sweeney, and he made MiamiCraneTracker.com.
He messaged me as well. I didn't know he was already friends with Ryan. How cool!
It's really neat. It basically just lists all of the programs, all of the projects under construction, and it includes proposed, approved, and under construction. So all three categories.
Amazing.
And in those three categories, in the neighborhood that are tracked, which is the greater downtown area, which is Brickell, Overtown, Wynwood, Downtown, Edgewater, Midtown. That's the greater downtown area. There are 49,133 units in those three buckets.
That's incredible.
And then listen to this. Under construction, there's 20,000.
Wow.
20,385.
So our data point was that we have the highest or the second highest, I forget what it is right now, units under construction as a percentage of existing inventory of any city in the country.
Yeah. And we're like double the next closest.
That's pretty amazing.
City.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, it is sort of relative if you think about it with, like, you know, some cities have far more units, but we're double the next closest.
That's why as a percentage, that's our growth trajectory.
Crazy.
And that's back to the point of momentum I keep talking about. If that is not an indicator of momentum, I don't know what is. That's optimism. That's putting money to work. New York is building nothing as a counterpoint. So what do these two things symbolize? One place is building nothing and experiencing budget shortfalls.
Yeah.
And one is building enormously as a percentage of existing base with actual taxpayers moving to it.
Yeah. And I think an interesting thing is that the rents in Miami have started to glide down because of those numbers.
Correct. And that's a great thing.
And I think we're starting to see it more widely now. It was the dam has started to crack a little bit in the past couple months, but now it's like starting to cascade, which is fabulous.
It's wonderful.
Because basically it's market economics. Like they will continue to charge more until they can't.
Supply and demand, boys and girls. It's a real thing.
Yeah, it's very simple. And we've gotten to the point where landlords and developers have reached the peak of what they can charge, more or less.
Good, because we had one of the highest percentages in the country of what are called cost burden renters.
Yeah. So
we very much need it. And then also on the buy side, we have a disappearance of inventory below median pricing. That's one thing that I track really closely. I find it interesting because when the market, when the press or whomever reports upon the market, they report upon transaction volume of the whole market across all price points.
Yeah.
And you see kind of seemingly drastic drops in transaction volume. Yes. But really it's because inventory below the median price has pretty much gone away. Yeah. It's down over 80% versus pre-COVID. It's over around 600,000 for single family, 300,000 for condos. Like it's gone.
Okay.
And that's also, I think that's something that could be addressed by more price attainable rental inventory.
Yes.
So it's all a good thing.
It is a good thing. And it's funny. I was on a cruise.
Birthday cruise.
Yes, birthday cruise. Our birthdays are very soon.
Yay.
And I was talking to people on this cruise, and it was interesting because I told them how much my rent was because they'd ask where I'm from, blah, blah. I'd say I overlook the port, and they'd be like, because they'd be like from Kentucky or something.
Right.
Oh, Iowa or Kentucky. I went on a Carnival cruise, so everyone was there from like Iowa or whatever. But anyways, I told them how much I paid in rent, and they were like,
I know,
like pearls and
you're like, you could get a 6-bedroom with in-house staff.
But it's so interesting to me, just the difference in location. I know it's the old cliche in retail, but it's in real estate, but it's location.
Yep.
And like for me, I want a view. I want to be a place with good weather. I want to be a city with culture and all those things. I'm willing to pay for that.
Right.
And that's why my rent is what it is.
Right.
If I wanted to go live in Cleveland, I could have a 6-bedroom house and be 45 minutes from the nearest Walmart.
Right.
Or 25, whatever.
Right.
But
correct.
It just, I saw on Twitter, someone was talking about St. Louis. And they were showing this picture of this beautiful loft building, which I presume is in downtown St. Louis. And they were like, it was like $160K, something along those lines. And they were like, wow, this is a great deal. And I literally looked up, this is my first thing. I went to Google and I typed in cities with the highest murder rate. And St. Louis was like number 2. And I was just like, there's always a reason for that.
Yeah, correct.
Like, listen, I know you're the data person, but like that's just something that you can just see. It's like This beautiful unit's $160, $160K
Why is that?
because
Supply and demand. Once again, back to that. The demand there is that's clearly what demand will support in that market. That's what that means.
And I have a lot of conversations like this. My friend Kevin Esmiga, we're both like the Yimbys in downtown Miami, and we have conversations with people who are always like that. They're like, oh, if you want cheap housing, move to, I don't know, Albuquerque or Alabama or something. And I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Well, it does, and to the point, it doesn't have to be cheap, but there is something called price attainability, right? And we did have a major squeeze in supply here.
Yes.
So it's never going to be cheap like Cleveland.
Yeah.
But we can come off the highs. At one point, we had something like 40% of people being what's called rent burden, spending more than, 30% gross income on rent. We had one of the worst ratios for that in the country. And people keep coming. So all this is happy news. And they will come, and they are coming.
Yeah. And it's interesting to me because a lot of people I follow on real estate Twitter are noticing this, and it's not like the apocalypse. Like they knew, even the people who build it and do spend the millions of dollars to it, they knew that it wouldn't go up. Rent wouldn't go up always.
No, it can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously. Right.
So, 2021 and 22 were anomalies.
Right.
And now we're normalizing to a new level of normal.
Correct. What I tell people is that those 2 years that were the spikes, they were the post-cataclysmic event years.
Okay.
And they were by definition a surge. And that does not last forever. And like you just said, it's going to normalize around a new reality, which is emerging.
Yeah.
And it's not done. This new reality is writing itself, as we keep saying.
Yeah.
Because these things, our feeder jurisdictions, like I promise you, and I don't wish anyone ill. Like I really, really don't. And I grew up in New York City, and I love New York City, so I don't wish anyone ill. Yeah. But like the pattern is so clear because people hurt. They move in cycles. Human nature is a certain way. Yeah. And we've seen these scripts play out before, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so it's highly likely they will continue to play out as they are. As they lose taxpayers, they will blame something for the shortfalls. They'll blame whatever. They'll double down on wealth taxes that will deliver 10% of what they sold to taxpayers. And nothing bad will happen to them. Yeah. They will stay in office. There's no clawback for anything having to affect them. Yeah. And they'll just keep doubling down, and we're going to keep getting taxpayers. Who is it? It's what we've been saying, this economic shift in focus. Was it Ken Griffin who was saying that he thinks that Miami is going to become the new capital of the world, financial world? And now Amazon's looking for office space.
Oh, that's amazing. I forgot about that.
Yes, that was in the news this week while he was cruising.
Yeah, it's like, that's so great because, remember, we had that whole like dog and pony show with HQ2 or whatever they were calling it. Like cities were like literally like sending their firstborns.
Yes, they're like, take it. Take what you want.
Yeah, take what you want. And then, it just devolved into drama. And then Long Island City.
New York lost one. They had
they tried. Yeah. And then it went to like Arlington and Crystal City outside DC. And now that is suspended.
Right.
Like they stopped building it. And Miami gets it for free.
And Bezos is moving to Miami also.
Yeah. And we don't have to pay a single dollar in incentives or whatever.
Because people want to be here.
Yeah. I just think it's so funny. Like out of all that whole drama, Miami ends up getting it for free.
I think it's wonderful.
I know. It's great. It's so Miami too.
It is.
Yeah. I think, I know it's mentioned before, but I think Bezos being here is going to be a good thing for the city, for the arts and culture.
Super good.
Because billionaires don't just, they want their name out there. They want to
be philanthropists.
Yes, they do.
That's what money buys you.
Yeah. And even if they don't get like a building or a library, they want to do something, even if they're not under the radar.
Correct.
Because, Bezos doesn't have, as far as I know, he's not like saying this park must be called Jeff Bezos Park. He more like sponsors under the radar things.
Exactly. So, and Ken Griffin is always involved with the municipalities in which he lives too. He heavily donates.
Yeah, he didn't require the underline to be called Ken Griffin Park.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I really think Elon's going to have to move here. Like I feel this. I've been saying it. I think Elon needs to move here at least part of the time, and then we'll make him do jujitsu. That's my plan, everyone.
You're gonna be wife number like 6 or 7.
It's like his serial polygamy plan. What does he have? 12 official kids? Probably more. Yeah. But I'm not hating. God bless consenting adults.
Yeah, you're gonna be like wife number 6 or 7.
I'm not joining the harem. I'm not a harem kind of girl. But
oh boy. In other news,
they could join my harem. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, that's a whole other podcast. I feel like we need 2 versions podcast, like a real estate one, and then like a spicier one, like our conversations we have on like WhatsApp and Instagram, like our voice.
I'm not sure people can handle that.
We're both canceled.
Although Elon Twitter doesn't cancel anymore.
I know. It's true.
I kind of love that.
So-
Did you see his interview actually about the truth and being like the free? Who was it? I believe Elon. It was a few days ago. He had an interview with I think a New York Times reporter.
He told to F you.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
said F the advertisers.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't care. The Earth will know. The people will know. It was fantastic.
That is literally the definition of F you money.
Yeah, literally. He's like,
It's
I
like-
don't care.
I don't care.
But he never did. That's why he was crazy. He took his first 100 million and invested it like 100% to SpaceX,
Yeah.
and he could have gone bust. He didn't care.
Yeah.
He's always been just like, whatever, let's do it. It's kind of a very stoic principle because if you think of time in any meaningful way of time frames, a second is the same as 100 years. And so
Yes.
for any concept of time, we're dead far longer than we're alive.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. So as long as you're here on Earth, there's this great quote from, I think it was Aurelius, where it's like, assume you're already dead and then live life accordingly.
Yeah. Well, I think it also goes, there's a quote by, who is it, Emily Dickinson?
Mhm.
And she said that once you've destroyed your reputation, you can live quite freely.
Yes. And how liberating is that? Because really, who cares?
This is total side note, but I know this from fact. I didn't quite destroy my reputation, but I basically gave up on a previous life that I had.
I've done similar.
And just sort of,
I've done similar.
everything that I built, everything I did was just a wash and it was
Mhm.
over. And then I wasn't at rock bottom, but close enough.
Mhm.
And so at that point, I just didn't care. I'm like,
Right.
I don't care what people think of me.
That's very liberating.
And it's super
Yeah.
liberating.
Yep.
I don't have Elon money, but still, it's
Whatever.
Like,
Yeah, you're living your life that you're making for yourself now.
yeah.
Exactly. You know, all those things, like when people reset life, it's not like those things were for nothing because you've learned and acquired knowledge from all those experiences. So you don't start from, maybe there's a reset in terms of material possessions at a certain time,
Yeah.
but the mental that one gathers and everything else, that's not a wash.
Yeah.
That's all still there. And you take those things with you in the next part.
Yeah. That's great. Back a little bit back to real estate.
Hmm.
This is interesting. This is a condo in downtown San Francisco.
Mhm.
They bought it in 2021 for $655K, and they just
$399?
lived for $399. And this is not in a. This is Mission Bay.
Wow.
So that's like south. I don't know where. It's not quite in like Soma. It's like
Right.
it's more south. I know that address because I used to take the Cal train,
Mhm.
and it's like right there.
That's quite the price drop.
Yeah, that's insane. But they bought it for twice the price, and they're trying to sell it for less.
Trying to be the operative before
Yeah.
transaction costs, taxes, everything else.
Yeah, wow, it's wild. And I just saw on the flip side of this that 830 Brickell is now fully leased.
That's amazing.
Yeah, 830 Brickell, guys, is the new office tower that's being built right in front of SLS Lux.
That's amazing.
But yeah, it's fully leased.
Hmm.
And it's gonna have like a rooftop restaurant and all kinds of fun things.
It's all filling in.
Yeah. Any news or interesting projects that you
You know, I just on just the topic of things leasing or selling out, I've been putting together, some information on sales of pre-construction projects, especially the short-term condo hotel variety, and the number of them that have sold out very quickly is astounding.
Yeah. Wild. Speaking of, the FAA approved Casa Tua's building
I guess.
to be a super tall. It wasn't super tall originally.
What is the super hall? I used to know the number. It's
1,049.
amazing.
Yeah. Speaking of that is the limit of buildings in Miami that you can build to. Unless we decide to relocate MIA somewhere else.
Right.
But it's fun fact, they almost took the limit in downtown Miami to like 500 feet. Because there was some like FAA rule that
They're
they were going to change, and they would have made downtown Miami like 500 feet.
crazy.
Obviously didn't work, but
That
can
would've
you imagine?
Different world.
Yeah, different worlds. What else is happening? Oh, Mello's Oreo Reserve.
Mhm.
It says that multiple high-profile soccer players have bought it
I
there.
saw that.
Yes.
And there was one, I believe, no, it was a basketball player that just bought it at the Villa.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same place.
Okay.
Yeah. We've talked about this before in previous episodes, but there is so much happening in Edgewater, and because Edgewater is one place that has some of the remaining empty lots,
Mhm.
developers can just sort of start whenever they
Mhm.
feel like it.
Exactly.
There's not like they have to go through like demolishing and all that. fun stuff.
Exactly.
Also, speaking of good things, they got a full demolishment. I'm not saying the word.
Full
Demolition.
Demolition.
Guys, I'm still on vacation. My brain is still like
Floating in the Caribbean.
yeah, floating in the Caribbean somewhere. They got a full demolition permit for it, so that will be actually knocked down. It's one of the
Progress.
most blighted spots in downtown. Like, I'm so excited for that.
Progress.
Yes. What else is happening? Any other news projects that you
I
like?
mean, stuff is just, I was thinking the other day, but stuff is finally being built in North Bay Village, which is kind of exciting.
Yes.
There's a whole lot going on right there, actually.
Yeah.
There's one under construction, which is kind of a more luxury project. There's a few sites under talks too, and that was kind of also a holdout. Nothing was built there for a long time. Now that's emerging also.
Nice. I read today that they're going to do a Continuum flavored project there, branded.
Okay.
Like Continuum South Beach.
Yeah.
They're doing a Continuum North Bay Village.
Okay.
I love it because North Bay Village is a very interesting place.
It is.
You know, it didn't exist until like the 60s or 70s.
Okay.
Like they dug up the causeway and they used that to make the islands that were there. But yeah, it didn't exist until very recently. And it's always been like one of the most corrupt places in Miami-Dade.
I know. They have a lot of interesting internal politics there.
Extremely.
They have mutinies basically. And
I know.
yeah, I know.
And wasn't there one where like the mayor like did like blackmail someone else because like there was like a fence?
I don't know the details, but I heard something like that.
There was like a fence and like I don't know.
Yes, it was like high school politics.
Yeah.
In this tiny little jurisdiction.
Well, the thing interesting about North Bay Village is that it's mostly owned by WSVN.
Really?
Yeah, Sunbeam. Like they have their main station there, and they own like the huge chunk of it. And speaking of local politics, it recently got rezoned to be 600 feet heights.
Right.
It was like 10 stories before.
Yes.
So now
now we're seeing action now.
Now it's like a crazy gold rush because everyone's trying to get in there and build it's gonna be hilarious. It's gonna be like a mini Brickell in like an island that's like this big.
And they have nice views.
Yes. And they'll have permanent nice views. And I think related they bought a plot there.
Okay.
Because there's so many of those old 1960s like 3-story multifamilies there.
Tons.
And so those people are getting a payout.
It's good real estate.
I know. I sometimes wish I had money to invest like that because that's what I would be doing.
Buying those little, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be buying them all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anything else?
What else?
We had Jeff Bezos. We had Amazon.
Ken Griffin. Tax receipts coming in low in our fewer jurisdictions.
That's great. I'm trying to think. I think I'm excited for the new year because I think we're going to see a lot of projects that have been long gestating start to pop off.
Yep.
Because developers always sort of wait until that new year rolls over to like start.
Yep.
I mean, it's December, so it's the slow
holidays.
It's a slow time. Like, but I think what you'll see is a lot of under the radar land sales happen, and then you'll see the projects get announced in March or April. It's good stuff.
No, it's super good stuff. And our markets overall we just got November numbers, and it's looking pretty solid. Nothing drastic.
Okay.
The median pricing is holding up.
Oh,
across.
We need to talk about your new venture, the Ask Anna Show.
Oh yes.
So why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah.
The first episode.
The second one's out now too.
Okay.
It's every month. But yes, last time we spoke, it's once a month. Actually, I announced this to the realtor community when I spoke at the Rock the Market in Miami. There was a big one at the Hard Rock Hotel a few months ago. That was like 1,500 people in the room. That was something. I walked through. I was like, whoa! And then it was such a success that we had a second one just for Miami, not South Florida, at the Biltmore. And we talked about it there. So I announced it there. And so basically it's because our story keeps diverging from that of the national narrative and the news gets it wrong. And it's important to not just look at the market as a whole because we have certain segments transacting, some are not. And so for anyone who's investing or a real estate professional, you need to know where the action is.
Yeah.
And the market is not a monolith. And so it's important to subdivide that. So basically every month I take a granular look at the market. There's like a PDF. Quarterly, in the quarter there's 3, but in a regular month there's 1. And it looks into each segment of the market. And since I know people don't really like to read, I also have a video where I talk about it and go along each slide.
It's great.
So it's meant to help people like own the Miami story, which is different than the national media.
Do people because Ask Anna, do they send you questions?
Actually, yeah. So I'm going to start recording those too.
Nice.
Correct. You get some good ones. I like those questions because good questions make you think of things you may not have otherwise considered.
Yeah. Do you have any questions that you'd like to share? Like any of the fun ones?
Off the top of my head, no. I mean, the ones that are tricky to address are the ones about insurance rates going up because they have.
Yeah.
And that's just a fact. But then it's a question of balance in terms of supply, demand, and all these factors that come in.
Yeah.
Interesting point is that our single family home market has all segments above 500,000 were up year over year for transaction volume. Condo market, no.
Okay.
And that might be also one thesis that I keep putting forth is that the single family home market, in terms of capturing land value within proximity to the urban core, is a very real thing.
Yeah.
Whereas we know for the condo market, you could build more and go vertical.
Yes.
And I think that those single family homes are kind of like, they have built in scarcity. Like you're buying into the Miami thesis in a way, more powerful way than you are with condos. Just is. You can't build more vertical. And I think we're starting to see that difference reflected in the numbers.
I love it. So you're talking like Coconut Grove and Coral Gables and
the islands in between Miami Beach, Palm Hibiscus, all of them. Any single family piece of land that's within 40 minutes, we'll call the urban core.
Okay. Nice.
It's interesting. Yeah, in all segments, it's important to note that all segments, in terms of supply and demand, active listings versus transaction volume, even given the current transaction volume drops in some condo segments, especially, the balance is tighter than pre-COVID, the supply and demand balance.
Okay.
Across the entire market.
Love
So we're stable in terms of the residential markets going into the next year. It's leveling off around these new normals. It's all kind of finding its way, but it's very there's real strength kind of buffing up the market. It's finding its way.
One final piece of news I want to talk about is that the downtown Tri-Rail link is supposed to start running by the end of the year.
Oh, it's exciting.
It is. And this is something that I've been excited about for a very long time. Listen, I love Brightline. Brightline's fabulous. But Brightline is like a premium dessert travel. That's not something you can do every day.
Right.
Tri-Rail is like $5, $7
Right.
go
It's
to
your
West Palm
daily.
Beach. Yeah. And so one of the interesting facts about Tri-Rail is that it was originally designed to be temporary while they widened at 95 in the 90s.
Okay.
Like they just were like, oh, we're going to have this road out of order for a while. We need to take people. So they started Tri-Rail. It got popular and they kept it. But as most of you know, Tri-Rail like currently ends in Hialeah or the airport. And then you have to take Metro Rail to downtown. It's not very convenient. It's like you got to time it right. It's kind of a mess. However, Brightline, one of the things they were required to do when they got all their approvals is they had to create a way for Tri-Rail to get downtown to the population centers. It has been a 7-year, and I love Brightline, but making it the most speedy process. And why would they? Tri-Rail's really a competition. Right. Any way you slice it, Tri-Rail is a competition. Right. So Tri-Rail's not for profit. I don't know if it's not profit. It's government. And Brightline is very much for profit.
Right.
So there's some drama there. But they can't drag their feet forever. So now they have all the government approvals and everything. So Tri-Rail should be running to downtown Miami Central by the end of the year.
And look at that. We're building transit.
Yeah. And that will be huge because you can then go from downtown Miami to West Palm Beach for like $12.
Wow, that's fantastic.
It is slower than Brightline.
Much cheaper.
But much cheaper. And you just, it'll allow the working class to have a direct connection from downtown to downtown.
That's very good.
So I am and it's also, I think it's interesting. Miami Central is one of my favorite developments by far because it is the most transportation connected project probably in all of Florida and maybe even the South. Because listen, you have Metro Mover, you have Metro Rail, you have Brightline, Tri-Rail, and the buses all there in like one area. That's a lot of options in one spot. And they all interconnect and then you can go other places with them. So, and they're all different levels of service too. Brightline's premium, Tri-Rail is regular, Metro Rail is for commuters in Miami-Dade, Metro Mover takes you around downtown. So like you have all the loops and they all connect right there.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm a transportation nerd.
Criticized for no transit.
Yeah.
Remember that stat that you had found in that study? I think it was by J.P. Morgan. That was really it was a New York focus, but it showed data from other cities.
Yeah,
and it showed that our public transport change was like 100%. Versus pre-COVID.
I think it was above 100%.
Correct. Yeah. How amazing is that?
Yeah.
Ha. Meanwhile, where's that Second Avenue subway in New York?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, it's we have our own problems.
Of course we do.
There was a story out yesterday that the BRT they're building down south is like gonna take like 4 minutes off of like a 70-minute trip. Yeah. It's like it's nothing.
Right.
So it's not, like I say this to everyone who will listen. Miami has its share of problems.
Of course.
For sure. Like any city does. But the vast majority of our problems are, number one, fixable. And secondly, they're just not as dramatic or terrible as other cities.
No.
And you look up the facts on that.
Also, weather makes things more dramatic. There's something to be said for any type of municipal dysfunction, but when you're dealing with it and you have sleet, ice,
Yes.
and all of those things, it's quite a different experience.
Yes.
Municipal dysfunction under palm trees and sunlight is a far different experience.
Oh, that was me on the cruise last week. And like I said, everyone there was from like Ohio or Iowa or whatever. They were all from just those places.
Right.
And they were all like talking about like the sleet and snow. I'm like, I'm going back to paradise, y'all. Like,
Ciao.
ciao.
Even transit thing. Oh, the subway's not coming. This is not coming. Whatever problem there's with transportation. When it's cold and sleeting,
It's
horrible. Like you
Yes.
actually suffer.
Yeah, I mean, like we have rain here, okay?
Yeah.
Like you get wet. Like
It's not actually cold.
Yeah. Trust me, I've taken transit in the middle of like a mini tropical storm, and I'm soaked to the bone, but it's not like I'm gonna die of like hypothermia
No,
or something.
you're not gonna get frostbite.
You're not gonna get
like,
frostbite, like
You're fine, really.
Yeah. So
Exactly. It makes it all bearable.
and you know, that is what my sort of thesis is for Miami is like we have our problems, but when you stack up what makes Miami great and the benefits, it just vastly outweighs.
I agree. And we keep improving, honestly. I think we do.
Yeah. And I think we're getting to like we had our elections and we hired. We voted in 2 progressive new commissioners that are not a part of the dynasty in any which way.
Fantastic.
Our first openly gay one as well. And I think we're getting to a point where like there's going to be some change.
I agree. It changes
Yeah.
the flavor of the city.
Yeah.
Yep.
And our favorite crazy commissioner is going to be term limited at some point.
Right.
So he won't be around forever. Maybe he'll try and run for mayor again. Who knows? But
I'm optimistic.
yeah, I'm optimistic, and I think once the presidential elections are over this
The circus.
next year, I think things will improve.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
I mean, it just I don't know. I honestly don't know where we're going. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I think the country's just going to keep diverging.
Yeah,
I've been saying this for a while. I believe. I think politically, all I have to do is look at electoral maps and see how people vote and just time lapse them. People have done this, like going back to just Reagan, 1980. And it went from, obviously, there are certain areas that vote a certain way, but it was kind of like mixed, dispersed across the country. Over these 40 years, it's just gone, and the country's become totally polarized. And now people are moving in accordance with the belief system. So I think that just the realities will continue.
I think that is something interesting to talk about because the country has polarized in the vast majority, except really here.
Yes.
I mean, we have our own brand of crazy politics,
Right.
but it's like Miami really isn't that polarized.
We've managed to mingle it all somehow.
Yes, and there are mass differences in the haves and the have-nots and like different status, but like, how can I explain this?
I'm looking at it this way. We take a stance that's a little bit similar to Texas in some ways, but minus the the religious zealotry.
Exactly.
That's what we've done.
Exactly.
And I think that's actually attracting a certain type of person who is not comfortable with religious zealotry.
Yeah.
Like geography being equal, I'd move to the place without the religious zealotry.
Yeah.
But I think we managed to occupy that middle ground.
Yeah, and I think I still think there is a little bit of religiousness, a little bit,
Sure.
but it's not as like in your face.
It's not part of the fabric.
Yeah, it's definitely not part of the fabric.
It's part of the fabric over there.
Because it's like our main culture here is Hispanic and Latin.
Correct.
And most of the people in those cultures are Catholic.
Correct.
And they sort of do their thing,
Right.
but it's not intertwined with politics.
It's not
It's
not the same flavor.
It's not evangelical.
It's not evangelical. It's completely correct. Exactly.
Trust me, I grew up in an evangelical household, and so I know that flavor like the back of my hand.
It's not that.
And Miami is about as far away from that as you can get.
Correct.
Because evangelical, literally by its name, it's like you are trying to make someone else the same as you by evangelizing them.
Right. Latinos don't do that,
No, they don't.
which is fantastic.
Yeah, they're like
Exactly.
they may be very religious, but they don't care what you
They're
are.
not militant about it
Yeah,
at all.
exactly.
It's more pleasant. So we've managed to somehow take a almost libertarian stance on some things.
Yeah,
So it's a good mix that we have over there.
because like Texas is like libertarian, but with like the religious flavor.
Yes. Yes.
Miami is libertarian, but without the religious flavor.
Yes. I like it. I think it works.
I do too. And like I said, I wouldn't be here if I didn't like it.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that will also keep building on itself because we're going to attract people who like that.
Yeah. And I think, going back to Jeff Bezos living here, I think he's going to start his own sort of flywheel / snowball of it.
Yes.
because, there's people in his circle that want to be close to him.
100%. He's it's like the emperor in the court.
Yes.
They're going to follow. The court travels with the emperor.
Yeah. They say Amazon's looking for 50,000 plus square feet of office. That could be a building.
Absolutely.
I mean, or it could be a couple floors, but that's probably. I'll make a prediction here. I think it's my prediction. I think Amazon is either going to do two things. They're going to buy a large project that is currently not Class A and not very nice, and totally redo it. Probably somewhere in downtown or this generalized area. I don't know. Or they're going to go like crazy and like do like an Amazon like signature thing. Like those are two options. Those two options, like rehabbing a current building to be nice, or doing a full-on signature.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they meant by looking for office space to look and see what's available that they can do.
Yeah, because I think they might start out with that older one and rehab it, and then
maybe grow more, get more.
Yeah, but I guarantee you, when they land in a neighborhood, it's going to.
So exciting! I love it.
And I don't think it'll be Wynwood.
Okay, those are Ryan's predictions. Everyone.
I like Wynwood, but Wynwood is not. Besides, like the new office that's Win 45, I think, or 545. Besides that one, it's just not a very corporate-y type space. It's more for startups, and I know in that Win 45 they have like Sony and Spotify and stuff, but
music scene stuff and
music, like creative stuff,
cultural stuff.
I don't see a pure tech company making a play in Wynwood.
Okay. That's the prediction. We'll see. That's exciting. We're gonna play this back. Yeah,
we'll see what happens. I'm excited. Or maybe we'll get like a battle with like Ken Griffin and Jeff Bezos.
How fun.
That'd be so much fun.
And then Elon. Meet Elon. I'm gonna keep saying that and manifest that. Elon's gonna move to Miami and we're gonna do jujitsu.
I think he'd probably jujitsu with Mark.
I'd kill him.
Now your Facebook, Instagram is blocked. Which gets banned tomorrow worldwide.
That was out loud. I don't know.
Oh boy. All right. Well, guys, thank you very much for listening. This is always fun. And does this line up with the holidays? Are we gonna be able to do one in between?
There's 2 weeks yeah, we will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's the 15th.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And then the next one will be
New Year.
Yeah.
Exciting.
It'll be fun. All right, guys. So thank you again for listening. And like I said, we make this for you guys. So if you have any questions or you want us to share something, like my friend Connor with, what was it called again? Miami Crane Tracker?
Something like that. Yeah.
Whoops, sorry.
It's in there.
Yeah. Miami Crane Tracker. It's pretty cool. Check it out. And if you have any questions or thoughts, put it in the comments. Thank you, guys.